Good evening friends, today we are going to discuss about FDI. FDI includes your ECB compliances, so our focus area will be FDI and related compliance for private limited and LLP. So as you can see on the board, we have categorized compliance in three types. One, fund types. You can see what kind of fund you can infuse as FDI. So it could be, one is equity shares. I will write short summary. Equity shares includes your CCPS, CCD. ES means equity shares, CCPS means compulsory convertible preference shares, and CCD, compulsory convertible debentures. So this is covered under the same category of equity or any other instruments which has capability of conversion is called as tier 1 equity. So you can write as tier 1 equity. So for RBI, whether it's equity shares or CCPS or CCD or any other instrument which has feature of conversion is deemed as equity. So equity and equity equivalent is deemed as investment. So now our next topic is, so investment is now clear. So industry. So industry is very important. For that, you need to check industry whether FDI is allowed or FDI is not allowed. In some of industry, FDI is allowed under government route. Government route means you need to take a prior approval. So this section will cover. And automatic route means it will go automatically, means investor will transfer fund in the account of company and later reporting is required. So there is no prior permission. So industry, typically in India we have e-commerce, fintech, manufacturing, automobiles, plus defense. So some of industries has 100% FDI with certain limitations. Some countries having some limitation where FDI cannot be done or there is some special requirement. So we'll discuss about the general requirement. So industry, you have to check. So every year in July, RBI issues notification which prescribes the industry, prescribes the lending norms, investment mode and compliance. So you have to see the circular of 2019, July 2019 for this. Now, mode of investment. So mode of investment is that what is mode? How fund is being invested? Whether it's conversion, suppose there is existing ECB and your company wants to convert to equity. So this will be deemed as existing fund. So first of all, you have to close this compliance if there is a conversion. So we'll talk about the new mode. So majorly in India, we have equity shares and CCPS is broadly issued for long-term view. In case of investment, the CCD is very popular. CCD refers to compulsory convertible debentures, means at any time it can be converted. So what about other instruments? Other instruments are optional convertible preference shares, optional convertible debentures. So if there is an optional, so optional OCD and OCPS is deemed as what? This deemed as ECB. So this is very confusion among the industry and the expert that this is also investment. This is not investment as per RBI. So ECB has certain own guidelines. So whenever you do any, you raise fund in any other mode other than these three or equivalent, you will require to adhere the ECB guideline. So we'll discuss about the ECB guideline, how ECB guideline works. Now, who are the eligible lender or investor? So lender word we'll use in ECB, investor word we will use in FDI. So for permitted countries, whereas there is no restriction to invest, like other than Bangladesh, Pakistan and any other countries which is connected to India as per the recent guideline, this is considered as eligible investor. So let's say for new shareholder and for existing. So you will require to understand the regulation for new and existing. So who are new? Let's say a company has raised fund from a venture capitalist and they are investing first time. So this is considered as new investment. So new investment will be done through private equity placement. So you can refer Companies Act about the private equity placement. So whenever you submit any forms for allotment, you have to adhere this. For existing shareholder, they will refer right issue. So right issue, I think you know broadly what the right issue is. So right issue of shares is issued to the existing shareholders. When we talk about the new and existing, regulation is same, but compliance for Companies Act is different. In case of new, you will require to open separate bank account, and this money will be, whatever fund will come, that fund will be in the account of new bank account. Once allotment is done, you can use this fund. In the right issue, you can use your existing bank account and do the allotment, use the fund. This is clear? Any question? Any question, Anup? Yes, sir. Please ask. Right issue means, let's say there are three shareholders, X, Y and Z. They own 33%, 34% and 33% equity shares. Equity shares means control. For an example, if Y as a foreign investor want to invest, so he can invest. If there is another investor, let's say A, and he is willing to invest in this company, let's say PVT Limited. So in such circumstances, this will be considered as new investment and this will be considered as right issue. Right issue means company has to give equal right to everyone to subscribe shares in the percentage of their holding. If they are not able to subscribe, they will re-announce that I am not able to hold shares, you please hold. So FDI compliance is same, but allotment process and reporting and some of things you need to take care. You may refer further search on this, like how to do right issue, how to do private placement. Yeah. So check country, whether the country is in grey list or not. So India is member of FATF. So FATF, and there is non-FATF who has not taken membership of Financial Action Task Force. Means those countries like Cayman Islands, like small tax havens. So they are not member of FATF, means they are not obliged to report to Indian government. Whenever government will ask, they are not obliged. So this considered as grey list So this investment is broadly scrutinized. There could be money laundering, there could be several other issues. So that is one. And also you need to check whether, so several questions comes from in mind when you deal with the situation, whether proof of income. Do I need to ask about the proof of income from investor? No. If investment is from FATF, so that is a regulatory concern. If they are willing to ask, they can ask directly from. So there is a KYC process. We'll discuss later how practically things works. Now, end use of fund. So whenever you do allotment of shares, you have to classify what will be the end use of fund. For an example, I have raised fund for, let's say, technology enhancement or working capital. But what I have done is I have done downstream investment. Means I have purchased or invested in other companies. For that, you will require to comply with another reporting of RBI, which is for downstream investment. So purpose which is given in the allotment should be compiled even after RBI reporting. Now, let's talk about the compliance. So what is the compliance checklist? First is one, you will have to sign shareholder agreement. Valuation. So what will be the valuation of the company? So valuation has to be certified by qualified chartered accountants with 10 years of experience or merchant banker, and also need to obtain CS certificate, company security certificate for the compliance. That all compliance of Companies Act has been met. You can find this format on our website. Now let's talk about valuation under Companies Act. So there is ambiguity about the law. So why do I need two valuation? So one valuation I need to take from C and another valuation from Companies Act. In my opinion, this valuation will work because they are merchant banker and more experienced than the valuation required under the Companies Act. So this has not been prescribed by Companies Act, but however, you may prefer for the both. So now let's discuss about the practical aspect, how things works. Let's say this is X willing to invest in B Private Limited. So X will transfer fund via SWIFT. This is basically international transfer mode. Let's say this is your ICICI Bank. So this bank will receive fund. Bank will notify the company that we have received this fund. For an example, $100,000. What needs to be done? So B will require to select purpose and purpose code. Purpose code. So if purpose code is investment, you will fall in this process. If purpose code is other than services, you will fall in this process. So whatever discussion we are doing, this is only about the capital transaction. If there is a fee settlement, if there is a revenue transaction, this compliance will not be applicable. So this is all about capital transaction, investments. Okay. So you have done purpose code. Now, the bank will credit this fund if you have very good relationship with them, your compliance status is good. Otherwise, ICICI Bank will send SWIFT message to X bank that please let me know the KYC of whom? X. Investor. KYC is a letter which states which will describe the name of investor, their national ID, and all other details. Means bank wants to ensure that the fund is from legitimate source. So once KYC is received, fund is released, and fund is credited to your account. You can use as per the requirement and compliance of the law. Now, so fund is credited. Now you will require to think about the compliance. So in this segment, we will assume that investment was under auto route, automatic route. So you will require to create login ID on firms. So you can search in Google firms login. This user ID you will generate with your entity details. This is RBI master data, and you will find several forms. Violation report will go of merchant banker and chartered accountant, compliance report, and then RBI will check everything that everything is fine. Then your application will be approved. This is all about FDI under automatic route. Now let's discuss about the government route. So when government route comes, we can, in simple language, we can say approval route. There could be two chances. One, industry. The industry which we discussed here, let's say defense, insurance. So earlier in insurance there was FDI only up to 49% and in defense was 49%. Now recently it increased to 100%. Like in e-commerce, there is some limitations. So you have to see that what industry you are putting. So let's say if industry says that no, you will require to take approval. So approval route will start. Industry you have checked, then you have to check investor. For an example, if investor is connecting to their border is connected to India, likewise China, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Myanmar, Nepal, any other country which is connected. So in such case, we will require to go for the government approval, irrespective whether industry is approved for automatic approval or not. In both cases, we have to see. We have to go for the reporting. Clear? See. So first you will check industry, investor. Keep in mind, you should check everything before raising fund. So if you raise fund first and then go for the compliance, then it will be a serious trouble for you, because compliance and penalty is huge in FEMA. So now let's discuss about the DIPP. So basically this department takes care of the all approvals. So approval contains RBI approval, Ministry of Home Affairs approval, and industry. For an example, let's say if you want to invest in textile from China, so government should take consent of textile ministry. Same time, MHA, they can also report to Ministry of External Affairs for the check. So this department will make a report. Report will go to a committee, and committee will approve or reject. So typically, whenever we plan FDI under approval or government route, we first take approval, then we initiate transaction. Means you cannot do reverse, that you have raised fund first and then you will go for the compliance. Right? Now, let's talk about the ECB. We will discuss a lot about ECB today. ECB has some ambiguity. How ECB works?
You said there are many penalties on
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
What if someone has raised funds through direct market route and later on the laws are changed?
So that will be compounding. That is compounding process. So it's up to RBI to approve or reject or ask
In
you.
that case, the person is not liable for the
Penalty may not be applicable if it has not been done intentionally. So let's talk about the ECB. How ECB works. For ECB, very simple check. Again, industry. Whether industry is eligible. Done. One. So industry means which industry you are willing to have, ECB. So there is some limitations on industry. Again, you have to refer RBI circular, which is issued from time to time for ECB. You can type in Google ECB RBI circular 2019 or thereafter. So industry is qualified means industry is eligible for the ECB process. Now we have to check lender. Who is lender? So lender could be one financial institution like listed banks outside India in a country whereas FDI is allowed. Means right now FDI is not allowed from China, Bangladesh, Pakistan and nearby countries. Means even FI is not eligible. This is very critical. So FI is not eligible. So right now government has not clarified about this, that whether a bank from China can lend to in India or not. This is awaited. Second is your existing shareholder. Let's say existing shareholders means who has 26% or more. Typically it's 26% we keep. So approval is easy if you have larger control. Means if movement of fund is from shareholders, existing shareholders, then RBI has no issue. This is eligible lender, right? Let's talk about, this is very basic, you have to, it's a very big law. Then let's talk about the borrowers. Who are the eligible borrowers? See, in my view, Pakistan, I'm not sure, but China, it should be applicable. If an investor who owns share in Indian company, and because ECB has again approval and automatic route, so in both cases reporting is required. So we'll talk about the borrowers. So who are the borrowers? So borrowers could be a company, a private limited or LLP, public limited, OPC. Partnership firm is not allowed to take ECB and provider is also not allowed to take ECB. Then you have to see end use. End use of fund means what you will do with this fund. This you have to clearly explain that how and where this fund will be used. This fund should not be used other than working capital for some of industry. So every industry they have own requirement. Like for tech-driven companies who are registered with the IPP and they have a Startup India registration, end use requirement is is removed. So that we have to study. Everything is given in the circular.
ECB can only use for working capital.
Yeah, primarily it can be only used for working capital. But some of industries have been allowed without any end use. No. Downstream you cannot do. So if you take ECB, you cannot further invest or lend to somebody. In any case. Means end use means it should not be for lending.
In FD it is allowed for certain institutions.
Lending means you are investing your own capital. You cannot take loan and invest. This is against the principle of business. So end use we have covered. Now there is a limitation of transaction which we have to see. So this limitation is specified for existing shareholder. Limitation is also specified for the financial institution like bank or any other institution who is willing to lend you. This you have to see in the circular. Now let's talk about the practical aspect, how this works. Practical, what we are going to check: 1, industry; 2, we are going to check lender; 3rd, ourselves, means as a borrower; then 4th, we have to check and draft loan agreement. So there will be loan agreement, and loan agreement will be registered in advance before taking fund. Where this will be required to register? This will be required to register by your AD category bank, means your bank. So your bank will send to RBI for the approval. So you will get unique loan account number. This is issued by RBI to your AD. AD will communicate with you. Let's say 68756E is your loan account, your loan number. So every tranche of ECB will have unique loan account number. It cannot be same loan agreement repeated every time. So 5th is, so you have approval. Now there is a reporting. So you will report. There is an online form, and same time again you will report to whom? Your bank. Bank will report to RBI. You can see here the entire reporting is to bank. So your bank will act and communicate and coordinate with RBI, and then everything is done. You will get message from RBI, ECB approved. So ECB is approved, you can use this fund. There are several other concerns which we need to keep in mind. So you have to see, 1 is your interest. What should be the interest for this loan? So for interest rate, you have to see the base point. So a base point has been prescribed. In the circular you will see, let's say the base point is, let's say 300, means let's say RBI lending rate is 8%, means 11% will be the effective rate of interest. So interest rate should be above the base point of RBI, whereas RBI does the lending. So right now base point is very low. Is clear? For an example, let's say base rate is 8%, and as per EC norms, the base point is, let's say 250, means 2.5% will be added. Effective rate of interest will be 11.5% per annum. This we can see in the circular.
And this keep changes.
This keep changes. So base rate changes, this is also changes.
So 2.5% is not fixed plus, but the
Yeah.
20 points is not fixed.
No. Yeah, sorry, 10.5.
So this 8% is mutually agreed by all the current
No.
countries.
This is base point issued by the RBI for normal lending. So let's say RBI has, so there is an interest cap. So interest should not be more than the lending rate.
This interest rate will be charged by the foreign entities on.
So they cannot charge 30%.
Sir, why we are taking loans from outside if we are getting lower interest, we can get loan from India?
So if you get in India, you will have to give security. You will not get in this interest rate, na? You will have to give collateral. So this act is very wide. So we'll have to also think about, can I place my shares and take loan? Yes, you can place your shares, take loan. Can I take loan against my property? Yes, you can. Even property in India, you can take loan from outside.
This gap is not eligible in case of FDI. There is some
No.
restriction of this.
Yes, no restriction.
There is a concept of these points there also.
No. So now this is done, then you will have to pay interest to your lender, and interest will attract TDS. So that is the other component.
So how we will pay that amount?
You will pay in EMI. Now let's say EMI you have decided of $10,000. So you will pay 10,000. So payment will go under section 195 of Income Tax Act. So TDS will be applicable on interest component 1. There is a 15 CA CB which you need to submit when you make payment. So CA will certify that okay, this payment is in the ordinary and the against the loan repayment. And then there is RBI compliance which you need to do.
In what form will we getting this money? I mean, in rupee denomination or dollars or something like that?
See, it can be done in both denomination, but the compliance is higher in case you go for USD. So better to keep INR.
But in case of USD, like if we are taking $70 in dollars,
Yeah.
now after 5 years we need to pay that amount.
Yes.
Now it might be the kind of foreign currencies.
Yeah.
Might be dollar can be extended.
Yeah, I understand. So that's why INR is easy. Other currency there is a restriction for the loan. So it's very wide. We'll have to see each and every industry to it. Any questions? For?
I guess at the time of repayment, for example, if people are studying in US, their loan EMIs are increasing because dollar is there is a strong hand.
So it does not cover personal things. It's all about the business. So this transaction only covers private limited, LLP, and similar
For
structure.
example, like fluctuation in the currency is absorbed.
You can see this is your part of agreement, that how and what terms you have agreed with your investor.
There is no regulation.
No regulation for this. So you have to decide that what interest rate you will charge, how interest rate you will charge, but it should not be beyond the regulatory cap. And also it should be agreed in mutually that how you will pay the loan in INR or USD.
We can do the hedging also.
Yeah, hedging.
5 years we can take dollars like for the futures.
Yes. So now this ECB is covered. Now we'll talk about the revenue transaction. So sometimes there is a confusion that revenue will require RBI reporting or not. Likewise, export of goods. Export of services. The third one is import of services. So you will find separate guideline from RBI for all three class. In export of goods, whatever currency you have received for sale of your goods, then you should keep all records, and then you will send goods, they will send money, and for money there is a BRC which you need to keep and the other stuff. Same export of services, there is some rule for export of services which we need to comply, otherwise GST will be applicable. Import of services means you are availing services from outside India. So if foreigners, they are rendering services in India, they will pay GST in India, and you will obliged to deduct TDS. In export of services, GST is 0%. In export of goods, GST is 0%. Here GST 18% is applicable. This has some concerns with export of services, so you can see the detailed guideline for this in GST law. Any other question? Okay. So if you have any question, you can comment on our channel, or you can email us at info@anthuslife.com. Thank you very much.